So, what's going on, y'all? So, y'all know I'm always trying to put y'all up on game about living abroad and just giving y'all experience about my expat life, right? And so, I was talking to my brother today, and we were having a conversation, and it really gave me an idea of something that I want to discuss when it comes to traveling abroad, living abroad, and just the overall gist of my perspective of coming back to America versus life abroad, right? Now, he brought up the conversation about passports, and he was like, I think people don't realize in America how easy it is to get a passport. And it got me to thinking because I'm going to be honest. In my family, the only people that I know, like in my immediate family, means my grandmother's children, the only people that I really know have a passport is me, my mama, and my auntie, right? Now, I might have other aunties that have passports, but that actually use their passports is me, my mama, and my auntie. None of my cousins that are on my level, my first cousins, I don't think any of them have a passport. And to be honest, I don't think any of them actually ever travel outside of America, let alone lived outside of America. And it really got me to thinking because a lot of people in my demographic, which is 35 and older, well, actually, I'm going to say 40 and over, a lot of 40 and over Americans do not have a passport. And that is so like crazy to me because I got my first passport when I was in my 20s. I went to Damascus for, some time. So I've been traveling internationally. Actually, I've been traveling internationally since I was a child because I lived in Detroit. And so we used to always go to Canada. But me traveling actually on a plane, I've been traveling overseas for the past 20 years. And I realized that a lot of people that I grew up with, a lot of people that I went to middle school, elementary school, high school with, do not have a passport. A lot of people from Detroit don't have passports. Now, in Atlanta, I've met people that have had passports, but most of the people that I know that have passports are people that work in the entertainment industry and their job requires for them to travel. Have any of them lived overseas for any long since of time? No, but they do have to travel for work. So, they have to have a passport. But outside of that, none of them lived abroad. None of them basically, went abroad and stayed for 30 days or more. They always traveling, whether it's they're traveling, to perform or whether they're traveling with the artist. But let me get into this because I realize that a lot of people probably overcomplicate getting a passport and they don't know how easy and how inexpensive it is because realistically it's under $200. And I know a lot of people that spend $200 or more on liquor, on drugs or clothes or hair or nails, when really all you have to do is just spend that money to get your passport and you have your passport for 10 years. And it's so easy to get a passport. And I believe that maybe it's an American thing because overseas, of course, everybody that I met overseas had a passport because they were expats like me. But even when I lived in these countries, it's so normal for people in Nigeria to work towards getting a passport so they can travel abroad as opposed to just being fine with traveling up and down in Nigeria, right? Because when they travel abroad. They don't just be traveling from Lagos to Abuja and calling that the turn up. So really, Americans, we have to do better. If you watching this video and you over 40 and you don't have a passport, why don't you? If you over 30, if you over 21 and you don't have a passport, why don't you? Seriously. And see, getting a passport is so easy. First of all, you need your birth certificate, which probably costs you $35 if you don't have your original birth certificate, if you don't have a copy of your birth certificate. And then you have to go to CVS to get 2 passport photos, which you get them right then and there. You have to have a copy of your valid ID or driver's license, which is all of you watching this should have that, right? Now, you do have to complete a form, which is DS-11, which you can get at the U.S. Department of State website, or you could just fill out the form when you get to the office to get your passport, right? And to be honest, it's $160 to get your passport. And that's, for me, it was get a money order, take my information, give it to them. They keep your birth certificate, you know, keep your money so you can pay your fees, and then you wait for your passport to come in the mail. It's very, very, very simple. Yet so many Americans do not have a passport. And why? Oh, and by the way, to get your passport photo at CVS is $17.99. So you literally paying less than 200, let's say 225 if you include the gas of you going to the passport office and you want to make sure you have enough gas in the tank to get there and get back. And to get your photos, your passport photos, and to put in your application, like less than $225 for you to get a passport. Simple. And also, if you want to get a passport card, just know that the passport card is only for land travel. So if you want to go to Canada, if you want to go to Mexico, that's when you use your passport card. But if you're flying and you're going on an international flight, then you have to have your passport, right? The actual book. And it stays valid for 10 years. So like mine will expire in 2030. And that was my second passport. So listen, it's so easy to get your passport. Go get your passport. Stop talking about it. I mean, it's cool for you to take trips to Vegas, trips to Miami, trips to New York, trips to Texas, trips to Atlanta, and any other place, within the United States. Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, whatever. But I'm telling you, if you really want to step your travel game up, go get you a passport and just travel. Even if you just want to go to Jamaica to get your feet wet. Nobody's telling you to go to Dubai. Nobody's telling you to go to Nigeria. Nobody's telling you to go to UK, pack your bags, and move. I'm just telling you. Ooh, my earring came off. Hold on. I'm just telling y'all, stop procrastinating and go get your passport. Now, some people don't have the desire to travel abroad. That's cool. Some people don't have the desire to live abroad. That's cool. But you still should have your passport. Me, that's the only form of identification I show, unless I'm going to show my Niger wife card or my Egyptian resident card, because I'm good in a few countries, baby. But I'm just telling y'all, listen, Americans, there is no way that you should not have a passport. And if y'all knew how important it was for people of other nationalities, of them getting their passports, you would understand. Listen, get this, do it for yourself, and travel. See what's going on in other parts of the world. One thing that I realized that from traveling abroad, it really broadened my perspective. It really kind of made me kind of like side-eye America a lot of it, not a little bit, a lot of it. But I wouldn't have known certain things unless I traveled to these different countries. Now, living abroad is not for everybody, but if it's for you, first, travel to some different countries. See if you like it. Get you an astrocartography reading by me or do it yourself or somebody else so you can kind of see where you're really supposed to live. And get out here and see the world, okay? That's it. I'm out. Peace.